Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 5 starts now.
A devastating loss of life as a car full of children hits a tree at high speed. Tonight, we're hearing from people who did what they could to try to help. The driver of that car, just 14 years old, the youngest victim, an 8-year-old girl.
14-year-old driver. The crash happened last night on Chakotay Avenue near Porter in Lincoln Park. Here's a look at this tragic toll. An 8-year-old girl, a 15-year-old boy, an 18-year-old male killed, a 13-year-old girl hospitalized in critical condition, a 14-year-old girl in stable condition. Sean Lay now standing by with what we've learned about the circumstances here and the efforts to try to save these young lives. Sean, it's horrible.
Well, Deb, it is absolutely horrible. All day long we've been here investigating this. This has been an ever-evolving situation, getting as many details of this horrible situation as we can. We just learned that the 8-year-old girl who lost her life right here, the 14-year-old girl, is her sister. Also mentioning the 14-year-old behind the wheel, believed to be behind the wheel, may have been trading off driving with the 13-year-old. Both of them were in the front seat. This car didn't roll over. It went end over end. Look how high the damage is on this tree before it smashed into this fence in this devastating crash.
She hit that curb right there, and when she did, the car went tumbling head over. And it did it at least twice that I heard the two booms, and then I heard the thing when it hit the tree.
Jennifer Kruger worked as an EMT. She says the crash that ended up in her Lincoln Park yard was the worst thing she'd ever seen. The vehicle was packed with children, young children. So you're in the house. What did you hear?
Oh, all I heard was the two huge booms, and then the car land. I mean, it sounded like something exploded, and my house was shaking.
Kruger ran to the vehicle. A 14-year-old girl, believed to be the driver, was injured, and tonight she is in stable condition. A 13-year-old passenger was thrown to the floor of the vehicle tonight. She is in critical condition. In the back, a 15-year-old boy and an 18-year-old male both did not survive the crash. And then a horrific discovery made outside of the vehicle.
And when I was talking to 911, she's asking me, can you do CPR or anything? And I said, I can't, because I can't get to them. And then when I came around the tree, I almost tripped over the body that was laying on the ground, because all I saw was this black pile that was laying there because she had black clothes on, and she just was like balled up. And so I started screaming on the 911 call, because I was like, I'm like, there's a body laying there.
That was the body of an 8-year-old girl. The kids joyriding in the car while on Instagram Live. 55 people were watching that feed when the driver sped up, lost control, and crashed. Back here live, we saw that live feed in a video. It is absolutely awful, something we certainly can't show to you. City of Lincoln Park saying this tonight, quote, Lincoln Park Fire and Police Departments and the City of Lincoln Park expressed their heartfelt sympathies to the families affected by this tragedy. We showed you Jennifer here trying to help. Also, we'll show you at 6 o'clock, a man simply walking down the street at that time. He saw what happened. He ran to the car. He also tried to help. So several good Samaritans here, at least trying to do something for these kids in that car. Back to you.
There's so much about this that'll never make sense, Sean, but you've been talking, I know, with some of the family members. It must be as nonsensical to them.
It is, and the aunt of the 8-year-old says the family is just devastated, as they're also trying to make sense of this as well and get as many details as they can.
Boy, just horrible. All right, Sean. Yeah.
Wow. All right, well, the snow is piling up in the western half of Michigan. They've already seen about 8 inches of accumulation in the Grand Rapids area, with another 8 forecast by tomorrow morning.
We are seeing just scattered snow showers here, but it has caused some slipping and sliding around on the roads. Look at this video from I-75 up near Lapeer Road. An SUV went off the road, ended up in a marsh. The responding wrecker then got stuck. That meant another tow truck had to show up. But fortunately, no one was hurt. But let's check in with Kim Adams for a look at our wintry weather here, Kim.
Well, you know, sometimes these lighter snows are more treacherous on the roadways because people don't slow down as they do when we're getting a significant snowfall. And that's the case tonight. And it's also slippery because the temperatures are dropping quickly below freezing. So let's do a little street level mapping starting in Macomb County for you. In Macomb, Chesterfield, it is snowing, the northern part of Mount Clemens, also down to the south in Wayne County, snow showers in Taylor, Melvindale, and then you head a little further to the north, Waterford and West Bloomfield also getting in on the snow as well. If you are headed downtown to the tree lighting, there'll just be those scattered light snow showers. Temperatures will drop down to the 20s, but wind chills will be in the teens tonight, so very, very cold. Heaviest snow remains out to the west coming off Lake Michigan, but not as heavy as it is in Buffalo. Look at this. This is on top of what they already have, another 2 to 4 feet of snow, as much as 4 inches an hour in Buffalo.
All right, Kim. Well, in fact, let's go ahead and take a look at the difference right now between Detroit and Buffalo, where they're under a state of emergency thanks to that major snowstorm. We're learning more about the bonus NFL game Detroit is getting as a result of that storm. Rod Maloney's live with what fans here and arriving from out of town need to know. Rod?
And it's already begun. I'll just say that right now. Now, Detroit has two things that Buffalo doesn't right now. A mere dusting of snow and a football stadium that's ready for use, or shall I say almost ready for use. We're going to show you a video here right now, a live picture inside Ford Field. And in case you didn't know, tonight is the Hobnoble Gobble. It's the pre-Thanksgiving parade party particularly scheduled for the Volunteers. And that is tonight. And the minute they finish with the party, they're going to have to break all of this down to get a football game up and running on Sunday. Already, Bills fans are in town.
It's an incredible trip, an incredible journey, but here we are to represent the Buffalo Bills in Michigan, Detroit, Michigan. Motor City's about to get ran through by the Bills, baby!
Okay, we'll get back to him in a minute. We've seen just a taste of Buffalo's November surprise, but let's get down to ground zero, Highmark Stadium in Orchard Park, New York. These are pictures from the Buffalo Bills website. And frankly, there are not enough residents in Buffalo to shovel this out like they do in Green Bay. And considering the dollars involved in the NFL, they cannot afford a snow day. So, just like what happened on November 24th, 2014, when the Bills had to play the Jets, and December 13th, 2010, when the Vikings Metrodome roof collapsed and they played the New York Giants, they had the games right here at Ford Field. Now, over at Ford Field today, they told Local 4 that they feel uniquely qualified to handle this home-away-from-home game since they've done it now so many times. Tim Ramage and John Ronsberg aren't even from Buffalo.
We're from Vancouver, Washington.
It's a trip they planned back in June and required a lot of juggling.
We flew from Portland, Oregon, into Cleveland, Ohio. I've been up for 2 days, so it's no big deal, right? Got in this morning at what time? 6 a.m.?
6 a.m., yeah.
Rental car at 7 a.m. Got here at 10:30 to our hotel.
Planes, trains, and automobiles, right? Well, here's the thing. They went to buy tickets. They weren't able to because they're not Bills season ticket holders. Those are the ones that were able to be sold this afternoon. I guess about 6 o'clock tonight, they're talking about releasing tickets to other Bills fans on the Bills app. You have to go there for that. If you're looking to go to the game on Sunday, you're going to have to wait until tomorrow. And even at that, you're going to have to be watching either the Lions or the Bills websites to find out when they're actually going to be going on sale there over at Gate G at Ford Field, because that's where they are. Now, here's the other thing. The Bills, well, they're playing the Lions on Thanksgiving Day in Ford Field. As it stands right now, we're hearing from the Bills that they expect to go back to Buffalo, but we'll see how that goes. Reporting live, Rod Malone, Local 4.
And we hope everybody has a great time, though those two that you interviewed look like they're already having a great time before the game even starts. Rod, we appreciate your report this evening.
Fine. U.S. Attorney General Merrick Garland has taken an extraordinary step under some extraordinary circumstances. He's appointed a special counsel to investigate allegations surrounding Donald Trump, as the former president, of course, has launched his bid to reclaim the White House in 2024. Jay Gray has more, including the reaction from the current White House. Jay.
It is in the public interest to appoint a special prosecutor.
In a surprise announcement, Attorney General Merrick Garland shifts control of two major inquiries centered around former President Donald Trump to Jack Smith. Currently a prosecutor at The Hague, Smith is a former federal prosecutor and chief of the Justice Department's Public Integrity Division. He now takes the lead in the investigations into the former president's possible involvement in the January 6th attack on the Capitol and his handling of classified documents found in Trump's Mar-a-Lago home. The former president lashing out during an interview with Fox News Digital, calling the decision the worst politicization of justice in our country, saying, "I'm not going to partake in it," and demanding the Republican Party stand up and fight. The White House declining to talk about the move during an afternoon press briefing.
No reaction. Again, this is going to be up to the Attorney General, up to the Department of Justice as it relates to a criminal investigation.
In a written statement, Smith says in part, "I will exercise independent judgment and will move the investigations forward expeditiously and thoroughly to whatever outcome the facts and law dictate." The Justice Department says Smith's work begins, quote, "immediately." Jay Gray, Local 4.
University of Michigan's new president making a big announcement about where the school will plan to invest hundreds of millions of dollars. In a speech to a group of university leaders, President Santa Ono says the school will be focusing on socially responsible companies in which to invest. Grant Herms is live in Ann Arbor tonight. Grant, some people might want to know exactly what that means.
Yeah, and the school is still kind of working that out. But what it does mean is companies that focus on ESG or environmental, social, or governance issues. Those are key things that investors like universities, like the U of M, have been focusing on as who they do business with and invest in have increasingly come under scrutiny from fans, students, and faculty.
The University of Michigan's new president announcing a massive change in where the school puts its money and the companies it chooses to partner with. President Santa Ono telling a crowd of campus leaders the U of M would be investing $300 million in socially responsible companies.
This means they work to protect the environment, be socially responsible, and operate transparently while providing a strong financial return.
The move follows a trend among universities and colleges across the country over the last decade, but has become a focus particularly in the wake of the 2020 protests against racial injustice. But the investments have been decried by some as universities going woke. Most recently at Michigan State, where board members were poised to take up a resolution to not work with companies that backed voter suppression. Just the public notice caused outcry, and the resolution was removed from the meeting. Right now, it's unclear which companies the U of M would be partnering with. A release from the U saying the initial plan is to work with local banks and companies, but in a statement today, a spokesperson saying there remain many details still to be worked out.
And as you heard there, the company is still working out those details, but they do plan to work with a third party called Sustainalytics, I should say, that lines up those ESG criteria the school will then pick from that list. Now, this isn't their first foray into that territory. Last year, they said they would divest from fossil fuels, joining about 200 other universities and colleges from around the world. Live in Ann Arbor, Grant Herms, Local 4.
All right, Grant, we are just getting started here at 5 and ahead. The giveaway that had people lined up in their cars for hours in one part of Detroit.
And next, DTE bills will once again be going up as the state approves another rate increase. But wait until you hear how big of an increase the energy company wanted.